So here we are in After Effects. This is going to be animating a character part 2. So before I click new composition or anything, I'm going to go over here into the After Effects project area. I'm going to right click and I'm going to import 2 Photoshop files that I've already set up with the layers. This is a mashup of different student examples together, right? So I'm going to bring in the space and character example. When you bring it in, remember, you don't want to bring it in as footage, bring it in as composition, retain your layer sizes, make sure you can edit them, and go okay. It brings it in as its own composition. If you right here, 1920 by 1080, so if you're already in Photoshop and you set everything up with these pixel count, perfect. You're off to the races, and you can double click on that. And then there's your composition all set up, ready for you to animate inside of After Effects. I'm going to bring in one more. So I'm going to import one more design in here. You do not want to import as a footage. Retain the layer sizes. You can click here to create a composition and go. Okay. Okay, there you go. So you can see that in After Effects, it's brought in my Photoshop files, but it's put them all in their own folder right here, and it's created their own, this symbol here, it's created their own compositions. So I opened up the first space and character composition by double clicking on it. I'm going to double click on this one, this Callum and Sufan mashup one, double click on that, and it opens it up there. So you can have multiple compositions in one project file inside of After Effects, which makes things super handy as you're building building a bigger animation. You can make it in small parts here. So you can just click back over. There's my space and character. There's my CS mashup, and go back and forth between the two of them. So here's my layer. Here's my character layer. There's my space layer here. And so here's my character. I could rename this if I want to. I recommend naming layers. Character, so you can know, rather than layer 1, layer 10, whatever, you can label them if you haven't done so in Photoshop already. So as quick review is, here's where you transform and you can make some basic position and scale adjustments to the character. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to move the character across the screen here. So I'm going to change the position. Move this over here. Drag the position across the screen. So it gives my basic motion like that. I'm going to hit play to that. That's going pretty slow because it's rendering. So as this green line fills in and doesn't become dark, it'll give me a better sense of how the animation goes. So I'm going to back that up. There's the real speed. That's a little bit slow. So if you remember from my lesson, I'm going to move these keyframes closer together, and that'll go faster. I'm also going to go to this area here and select the work area just to be in this area, and it will loop the animation for me. That's still too slow for my liking, so move that closer together. Put that over here. There you go, that's better. So if I'm animating a character, I would start with the basic motion like that. Remember, if you want to do a little bit more to the character, you have the puppet pin tool up here. So I'm just going to grab this. I'm going to put pins on the character, certain spots. So then I can go to my selection tool here, and I can start moving this stuff around, right? And animating that with the pins. So I'm just going to review that. So when you throw the puppet pin on, it throws it into an effect. There's your puppet tool. There's a lot of clicking here, but here's mesh. And then you want to go to deform, and there's all of your puppets, your pins. So if I go, I can start clicking around these pins and seeing what ones are highlighted. So pin 4 is the one that I want to animate for demo purposes. Open this up. Make the fire that way. Make the fire this way. And back that way. I'm going to zoom in down here on these pins, on these keyframes. Move these closer together. If I go copy, paste, yeah, so it wants me selecting them and then pasting them. So that was what I did wrong. And there you go. So I have reviewed adding a puppet pin to your character. You can move these other pins around and animate them like that. And reviewed adding a position change on here. There you go. If I want to do other cool things to this image as my character is moving, like this is a bit of a space background here, what I might do is add those adjustment layers that I was talking about in the other lesson. So I'm going to add an adjustment layer down in here. If I right click or control click, go new, and go adjustment layer. And there's my adjustment layer. I like putting effects on adjustment layers, right? So you can go up and do effect. I would go down in a simulation and see if there's anything here to throw on. Generate. The lens flare might look good on this, but let's try beam. I'm going to delete beam. I don't want, that's not what the effect I was thinking it would be. Light sweep is what I was looking for. So sometimes in my head, I had what I wanted. I threw the beam one. It was actually light sweep. So see here, you can throw a light sweep around this. And you can do a ton of kind of cool things here, right, to make it look a little bit more spacey. I could grab here the center of the light sweep, put it right up here, put it down here across one of these lights. Here's likely what I would do. Again, you can change the width up here. You can animate all that, edge intensity, all that business. You can even change the color of it. If you wanted to make it a little bit more in tune with the background there and match it, and go okay. So just going to quickly talk about light sweep here. Let's animate that. So I opened all that up. We can actually have it. We can make it spin around. Might add some kind of cool effect here. Let's go here to the direction, and then we could put a direction spin on that, and there you go. So you could actually start adding more light sweeps to that area if you want. I'm going to continue as the character's coming across here. I'm going to keep with the spin. Add a bit more of that. Let's see what that looks like. Let's throw another light sweep on there. Effect, generate, light sweep. So you see you could start adding more in other areas here. This one looks actually pretty good right there. So I've got like, see how it labeled it for me? Light sweep 2 now. I'm going to keep it the default color. I think that looks pretty good. And again, how about instead of making a rotation, let's change the intensity of this one and have it kind of flicker. So I'm going to go to sweep intensity here. Move that up. Dull that down. Move it back up so it's like that. Maybe too much. There you go. Now remember, I can copy, select all these, copy, paste, Command C or Control C, paste, Command or Control V. And just keep pasting that, and then I can have like a little flicker going on there. So there you go. So that's light sweep. So when I look at something that's kind of got a spacey feel to it, or you got sun or a sunset, you could probably put a light sweep on there and see what that does as a cool effect. Make another adjustment layer, right click or control click, and adjustment layer here. Let's go up here and start having a little bit more fun. Go into effect, generate. Let's see what light rays do. So now you see here, I've added a light ray. There you can increase the intensity, decrease the intensity, increase the radius, decrease the radius. So let's move that over top of something. We could actually move this around. Look at what that's doing. So I think that's pretty effective. Let's put that there. I want to see what this is doing here. Okay, this is the center. So I'm going to move the center around. I'm going to start the center there. Let's keyframe the center as my character is moving. Let's move this over, pull that across, and let's check that out. And there you go. In no time, you're adding light rays, light sweeps to this scene and adding some kind of visual eye candy to it.